Hi guys, Crystal at CeeCee Film Reviews. Long time no see. I know it's been over a week now since I posted my last review, so I am going to try to put a few up for you guys today. So this review will be over the film Troy, which came out in 2004. It was directed by Wolfgang Petersen and written by David Benioff. One, I did not like this film. I really did not. Several reasons why. I'm going to try to go over a few, and then I'll try to end it off on a positive note of what I did like about the film. One, the movie was way too long. This movie was 3 hours long. In no way did this movie need to be 3 hours for the story that it was trying to tell. So Troy is supposed to be over the Trojan War, centering on the warrior Achilles. Short synopsis over Achilles. In the Greek legend, Achilles was this great warrior that when he was born as a baby, he was dipped into the river Styx and held by his Achilles heel, his ankle. And when you're dipped in the river Styx, he was made invulnerable, all except for his ankle that he was held by. And in the Trojan War, he ends up dying because he was shot through the ankle by an arrow. So that is the story that the film Troy is supposed to be over. And for the most part, they do follow that. But there are just so many things that they want you to accept as far as in this story that they're trying to tell, that me, as a person who's really sort of factual based when it comes to historical films like this, it was really hard for me to take myself out of what the actual story was to be and to immerse myself into this film or the story that they were trying to tell. I'm going to give a few examples for that. In the beginning, Troy is trying to negotiate a peace treaty with the city of Sparta. So they send their princes, Hector and Paris. Paris is played by Orlando Bloom in the film, to negotiate this treaty with the king of Sparta. The thing is, though, when they're there, so we enter the story that it's the night before Hector and Paris are supposed to leave and return to Troy. And the king of Sparta throws this big old gathering. Oh, yay, we're going to have peace. And, he gets drunk and he's off with one of his ladies that he has at the party. And while this is happening, Paris, the prince of Troy, ends up going to Queen of Sparta, Helen's room, and they have their whole shebang. And apparently no one in the castle is watching the Queen of Sparta. There's no guards. None of this is happening because we're all lovey-dovey, not like we're still at war at this time between Troy and Sparta. That makes no sense. How would he be able to sleep with the Queen of Sparta and no one finds out? Because obviously this is not the first time he has her. When you see like the lines, like that just makes no sense. I was like, this will never happen. And then like the editing. This is when the editing comes into play. And this is, I'm going to give you guys two examples. One from the beginning and then the end of the movie, which are the top two that really pissed me off as far as the script and the editing coming into play to make it so bad. So when Paris gets down from his rendezvous with the Queen of Sparta, he goes down and Hector's there waiting for him. And Hector's like, hey, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? And Paris is like, oh, I've been sleeping with the fisherman's wife, blah, blah, blah. And then Hector threatens Paris and he says, if you do anything to put this peace negotiation with Sparta at risk, I will kill you, basically. And that the scene ends there. Do you understand? And then the next scene in the film is them on the boat returning back to Troy. And Paris is like, hey, Hector, I know, he didn't even acknowledge that he got threatened to be killed the day before. It's like, hey, so I have the Queen of Sparta down the bottom of my throat. Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, didn't you just tell him the night before you're going to kill him? And all of a sudden, you're just accepting, oh, wait, we have the Queen of Sparta on our boat. We're just going to continue on our way to Troy. Like, that makes no sense. In the real world, brother or not, when we're trying to negotiate between our countries and thousands of people are dying, your ass and the Queen of Sparta would have been returned back to Sparta, and you would have dealt with the consequences like an adult. And that's the beginning of the film. There's a part at the end of the film which is just as bad. So in the middle, the king of Sparta goes to his brother Agamemnon and say, hey, they stole my wife. Let's go battle them. When they finally get to Troy and they're outside the wall, right before they start having the really huge battles. Okay, so the king of Sparta is challenged by Paris of Troy. So one-on-one man fight, let's handle this and let's abort a war, right? So they fight. Paris, of course, starts losing. And he starts to wimp out through and crawl back to his brother, oh, save me, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, it is for that time period has got to be one of the most embarrassing, insulting things, not for just for him, Paris as a man, but for Hector, for his king, for the entire kingdom of Troy. But somehow this is just accepted. And it's just so somehow it's just accepted. And then at the end of the film, when the Trojans actually end up in, I'm sorry, when the Spartans end up and the Greeks end up invading Troy, Paris and Helen of Troy at this point are trying to escape at the end, and he tells her, "Oh no, I can't run away with you, because if I do that, I'll shame you and you'll never want to be with me." I'm like, did you just, like, weren't you just begging for your life at the heels of your brother when you were supposed to have this whole honorable fight to avoid all this mass chaos that is now causing because you wanted to steal some other dude's wife? Up on that point, it wasn't just his story. On the point of Achilles' story. So Achilles, the greatest warrior, he ends up, he's the first one on the battlefield when they actually land on the shore of Troy, and he ends up massacring, taking over the shore of Troy, and they end up taking over like one of the temples and killing all the priests of Apollo's temples. And one of the characters, what is her name? Sorry, I can't remember her name at this point, but she's like not a princess of Troy, but she's the cousin of the princess of Troy, and she's a priestess that serves in the Apollo's temple. So she comes out and ends up getting captured by, the Greeks and the Spartans, and ends up being a war trophy, basically, of Achilles. And somehow, in this 2-day expanse of whatever, you don't even get the time frame, she ends up denouncing her virgin, commitment to the god of Apollo and sleeping with Achilles, who is played by Brad Pitt. It just made no sense. Like, in no way do I accept that. Like, it was just, oh wait, let's just have him naked and let's show a picture of Brad Pitt's butt, which, hey, I'm not against, especially at that time period because he was looking good. But it just made really horrible sense for the story. We're gonna move to positive notes now. Positive notes. The battles were very well choreographed in this film. They were very fun to watch. I love action scenes. So those were actually really fun. I actually rewinded a couple of times and rewatched some of the fighting scenes and the choreographs. The sound editing was amazing in those fight scenes, especially the end fight between Hector and Achilles. Like, when you hear the swords and the shield, like, it was immaculately done. It was beautifully done. Great job on that. The cinematography was actually pretty good too. I did like the colors, and like that was very well done too. But honestly, my favorite thing about this film was Brad Pitt's hair. It was so gold. It was pretty awesome to watch. So that is my review of Troy. Guys, it's 3 hours long. I'm sort of sad that I spent 3 hours watching it. I wanted to quit a few times in the film, but I made this commitment to myself that if I start watching a film, I'm going to finish it to the end so I can actually post a review for you guys. I am reading comments of people who are watching my videos. I know in the last one you guys requested for me to put movie posters in and maybe some movie clips. I will try to do that. It does take a little longer for me to find those things, and like I said, at this point, I'm just really trying to find time to post reviews. But I do want to feed into the service of people who are actually watching the videos, so I will do my best. Probably not today when I post the other views, but next week or the following week out, I'll try to go ahead and implement those things for you guys. So please let me know what you thought about this review. Too long, not enough detail, or too much detail, or things like that. Please subscribe. Let me know if there are any films that you guys want me to watch. And thanks for tuning in to CeeCee Film Reviews. Thanks, guys. Bye.